It's an absolute pleasure to have with myself and Nathan the big one that we've been looking forward to all day from Tool. Justin, how are you?
Very good. Nice to be here.
You're just telling us before we started this that your preparation was cleansing your soul by going for a swim in Mission Bay?
That's right, yeah. Needed to kind of, brush the cobwebs out.
Do you think that the other members of Tool are in need of a cleansing of their soul at any time?
Yeah. They might have to keep up tonight,
Do you prefer doing the intimate shows, or do you quite like doing these festivals?
It's good to do both, It's good to change it up. The cool thing about this is all the other bands that are playing and like the people that you get to meet and interact with. Gets a little tedious when you're just around the same people all the time, But then, doing your own shows, you can go a little deeper, It's just a different kind of thing.
A question that I wanted to ask: New Zealand per capita is the biggest buyers of A, Bob Marley, and B, Tool. What do you think that says about New Zealanders?
Damn. Well, it's pretty. That's a pretty wide range of stuff, I would say. Obviously, the one thing in common is something spiritual. There's something spiritual about it, I think. There's, I like the ganja too, but that's, the music is pretty extremely different. There's one's pretty mellow, one's pretty aggro. We're a little mellow too occasionally, but I'd say probably the spiritual side of the two things. What has it in common,
You a fan of Bob Marley?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect Circle covered Imagine. If you covered a Bob Marley song, what do you think you'd choose?
God, I don't know if we could, I'd certainly think that if we did a Bob Marley song, it wouldn't sound anything like Bob Marley, we'd change it up a lot.
It's a well-known thing, the huge structure of the Tool songs, and I've heard Maynard say before that parts of Tool songs to him almost represent parts of films, like a way that a film's made it. Do you see it that way as well, or is that more just Maynard seeing it like that?
It's kind of maybe a more kind of artistic visual film, It's got that kind of feeling where it takes you from one place to the other without really trying too hard, but it's I guess like what he's saying is it's kind of more of a soundtrack than a vocal statement, or a story. It's more kind of ethereal than that.
Makes me think, I had this written down, but if these bands were movies, what movie would they be? Guns N' Roses?
Total Recall.
Faith No More?
Barbarella.
Rage Against the Machine?
Alien Against Predator.
Nickelback?
Whatever the fucking Herbie or whatever the fucking one with the fucking...
Justin's rubbing his hair and looking confused. Pink Floyd?
Ooh, Apocalypse Now.
First word that comes in your head when I say these things. Josh Freese?
Stoned.
Mike Patton?
No words. Lunatic.
Dave Grohl?
Nice.
George Bush?
Wanker.
Bon Scott?
Fucking cool dude. That's three.
Bill Hicks?
Crazy.
Bryce Casey and Nathan Mullen?
Who are they?
Us.
Lovely.
One thing that's been well documented with Tool is that you're very modest in a way of your way of living. You'll never see Tool on cribs. You're not going to roll around in your Rolls Royces, and it's best represented in your music and what you put out. And I got a phone call the other night working, and he's a very big fan of Tool, and he rang on behalf of his brother who listens to Tool all day, and he just got diagnosed about 4 months ago with a brain tumour, and he couldn't come tonight, and he really wanted to. Does that have an impact on you guys when you know that there's a guy who's not well, but the one thing that he loves to listen to is you guys?
Yeah, of course.
That clearly help?
Of course. It's like I can't be a doctor, I can't help in that way. It's the one. That's why we do what we do, is because it's the one thing that we've got to share. That's the best bit about it. Yeah. Is that I can't put it in words, but I can make music that perhaps someone else will enjoy, and it will enhance their life in some way, or like help in some way. And when you realise that that's what that's what you have, that's what your calling is, then that's what you have to concentrate on, you know.
His name's Sean.
G'day, Sean. Fucking feel better, mate.
The Tool Rider.
Tool Rider. Self-piercing kits.
What's that?
Self-piercing kits.
Self-mutilation.
Maybe.
Hopefully, after you played this big day out, any chances of coming back down here for some more tours?
Yeah, hopefully, like right at the end of the year. If not at the end of the year, the beginning of next year. So we're definitely planning on doing that, doing our own shows and stuff.